Town Salvation Army. It's great to be able to talk to all you guys again. So again today we're going to be doing a different DIY craft. Like we said last week, we'll be doing a different one every week to do with your kids at home from household items, which is very exciting. So today we're going to be doing puffy paint, which is really fun and really easy to do with minimal mess. So what you're going to need to have today to make puffy paint is pretty much the same ingredients from last week. So you're going to need a bowl. Now this time I find that instead of making it in the containers, it is easier to make these ones in a bowl, but you can use the containers if you want to. So you'll need a bowl, you'll need some glue, PVA or clear glue. Either one doesn't matter. I just like using clear glue because it's easier to see what's going on. Then you'll need some food coloring. Today I'll be using yellow for what we're making today. Then you'll need a stirring stick. Now I'm using yellow today because that's the paint that we're using, so I thought that could be fun. This is optional, but you could also put some glitter in your paint. I love glitter, so that's why I'm using it today. But again, that's optional for you to use. So let's get started. What we're going to be doing is, because we don't really have measurements, I don't really use measurements when it comes to craft. Pretty much what we're going to, oh sorry, I also forgot to say you're going to need shaving foam. So the shaving foam is what makes the paint 3D and makes it puffy, which is really fun. So again, you could just use the shaving foam that you used last week for your slime. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting our paint in our bowl or container, and we're going to pour in, I would say about, again, it depends on how, before I pour it in, again, it depends on how many paints you're making. Because if you're making a lot of paints or just yellow, obviously we're going to have more yellow. But if you're making a whole bunch of colors, then I would suggest having little amounts. Otherwise, you're going to be using a lot of glue and not having enough to make all different colors. So because I'm only making one color today, I would say for a little amount, I would put 1, 2, 3.5 squeezes. So that's about, I would say that's about 2 tablespoons to 1.5 tablespoons. If it's easier for you, you could get a tablespoon and put 2.5 tablespoons. Again, we're going to need more shaving foam than what we have in the bowl of glue. So I would shake it up and I would fill the bowl, if you're making a small amount, to just before halfway. But if you're making just a large amount of one color, I would do it 3/4. And if you're doing a large amount of glue, I would put in 4 squeezes of glue. So again, one, pretty much, I would say just before halfway, which is about that much. Just double check that. Oh, a little bit more. A little bit more. I love puffy paint. It's very fun. Now, after you do that, before we put the food coloring in, you need to mix your glue and shaving foam really well. So we'll just mix that up. Mixing, mixing, mixing. Now, if you're afraid of your kids' hands getting a bit dirty, you can use gloves in this video because the kids aren't actually going to be putting the paint on their fingers like we did with the slime. So we'll just mix that up quite well. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back. That's been about maybe 2 to 5 minutes of mixing, and so it should look like this. When you can kind of pick it up like that, and it's kind of puffy like that, that's when we need to stop mixing. I also forgot to mention that we actually need water in this tutorial. So I've got a little cup of water here. This is just to make the paint runny enough that we can actually use it for paint rather than it just being a big thing of shaving foam. So what you're going to need is you put it in a cup, and it really depends on how much slime you're making, but the end result is that what you want, that when you pick up the paint, it kind of falls off the stick like paint would. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of paint to start, of water, sorry, to start. Mix it up. The more you mix it, the more that it'll look more like paint. You don't want it to be super runny like paint because it's puffy paint. So we'll just mix that up. Let's have a look. So that's kind of not really coming off yet. So what we'll do is we'll put a little bit more water, this time just a few drops. So we'll just mix that up again really well. Keep mixing. Let's have a look now. Okay, so I kept adding water until I got this kind of runny-ish consistency. It doesn't have to keep running because it's puffy paint. So this is the consistency that I have. Awesome. So not quite like paint, but just about there. It's really important that you don't make it too runny, otherwise it's not gonna dry 3D. Okay, so after you have your paint, like this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your food coloring. Now I'm using yellow today because what we're gonna be painting needs to be yellow, but I'll show you that in a minute. So also it's really important you don't add too many drops at one time, otherwise it's not gonna mix well. So let's start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. All right, let's stir that in. So as you can see, it's starting to turn color of yellow, but we need it to be really yellow today. So let's mix all that in. Let's do another 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's put that to the side and we'll mix it up. Okay. Let's have a look at that again. We want it to be a little bit more yellow. So let's put that in. 1, 2, 3 more drops. Okay. Because the shaving foam is white, it takes a little bit more time, kids, to get it to that yellow color. All right. Let's have a look now. There we go. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is, if you want to put glitter in yours, I'm going to show you how to do that. But if you don't, you can just fast forward this bit. So I love yellow and blue together. I think that's really cool. So again, gradually add the glitter. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 taps. Ooh. Let's mix that in. All right, I'm going to come back once I've mixed all the glitter in and show you what the end result of the paint is. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so we're back again. So I've mixed up my glitter into my paint. I actually mixed this paint in with a paint that I did before. But pretty much, if you want it really glittery, put a lot of glitter in. If you want it really yellow, put a lot of yellow in. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to make our card. So I thought it'd be really nice in this season that we could make cards for people, or you could just use your paint to paint what you want. But I'm going to show you guys how to make a sunshine card. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get some card, or you could use some paper. But if you want to make a card for someone, I find that using card is the best way for the paint. So what I've done is I've just got some card and I folded it in half, and as you can see, this kind of looks like a card. If you want to make smaller cards, you could cut it in half, but today I'm going to be making an A4 piece of paper closed in half card. So you get your card. I'm just going to move my camera back a little bit so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. We get our paint, and what we're going to do now is we're actually a spoon. Now I find again that metal spoons work best because they're not as flimsy as plastic spoons, but parents, if you want to use a plastic spoon that you can just throw out, that's totally up to you. Okay kids, so what we're going to do, we have our card, we have our spoon, we have our paint. So it's really important that you listen right now so I can show you what we're going to do. So we're going to create a sun on the page. And so what we need to do, I'm going to write a little message down the bottom. So what we need to do is do our circle a bit higher. So I'll show you how to do that. So we have our piece of paper. We're going to get our spoon. We're going to pick up the puffy paint, and you're going to pick up about 3/4 of a spoon, like that. See it? Awesome. Then you're going to put it on the page about 2/3 up. So mine's about here. I'll show you what I'm doing as I do it. Put it on the page. It doesn't matter what it looks like when it goes on. So it's about there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get the back of our spoon, and just like spreading pizza paste on a pizza, we're going to do it in a circle motion without pressing too hard, because we still want that paste to be a 3D look. Now it's okay if you don't get a circle straight away. Mine's a bit of an oblong shape because you can always get more paint and add more. make sure you're leaving room around the sides because we're going to put some sunshine rays on the side. So let's just put a little bit more paint on so I can make it that little bit more round. Make it look like a circle. Let's have a look. Circle, circle, circle. Alright, I'm going to show you what the circle looks like in a sec. Okay, so we have our circle like this. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit messy on the actual circle because that'll dry flat. Well, it'll dry like not like that. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to put our spoon to the side. Again, I put my spoons on some paper towel. So we're going to put our spoon to the side. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to get another popsicle stick. Now, mine's fallen into the paint, which is typical. But you can, if you have another one, use that. If you have your other one that's fallen in, just wash it off. What we're going to do now is we're going to create the rays of the sun. So you're going to get your popsicle stick and you're going to dip it in the paint like this. Now, when it's kind of coming off like that, you know that there's enough on it. So just watch really carefully what I do, yeah? So I'll just make sure that that's in line so you can see. You're going to get it like this onto the side. And then you're going to create, let me just make sure that that's in the view, a ray. So pull it out like that so it's a line. I like to make sure it's pretty puffy, so I put it twice. Let me show you what that looks like. Like that. You see? Awesome. So we're going to go all around the sun. I leave about 2 centimeters of gap in between. So let's just go all the way around the sun. Awesome. I've just finished my sun. Now I decided in the end to put more rays than not enough. So that's what my sun looks like, which is kind of fun. Now once you've done that, you can either choose to leave it like that or you can put a message down the bottom. Now my sun looks a bit boring at the moment, so I'm going to leave it to dry once I've written the words for about maybe an hour or so, and then I'll put a face on it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to write a message down the bottom. Now you can choose to write any message you want. And also I forgot to mention before is if you don't have popsicle sticks, parents at home, chopsticks work just the same. So you can use either or even the back of a spoon, like the long part of the spoon. Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to write a message down the bottom. Again, if you can use a chopstick or a the back of a spoon. This is probably too thick to use for writing, but what I've done is I have these little tubes of puffy paint. You can buy these little bottles at Kmart. This is just one that I had spare. I'm going to write a message down the bottom that says, "You are my sunshine." But yeah, you can do it with chopsticks or with the back of the long part of a spoon. So I'm just going to write that now. Parents also, or kids, if you guys need help on where to buy this stuff, or if you have any questions, please do ask me. So I actually decided to use purple instead of green, only because I ran out of green from doing a card from before. So what I'm going to write now is, "You are my sunshine." So it's really important to concentrate while doing this because the paint is quite thick and thicker than normal paint. So that can be a bit tricky to do. Also, don't stress too much if your writing is not as neat as you want it to be, because normally when it dries straight. Again, you can use a end of a spoon or a chopstick. If you don't have little containers like this, see, I've just made a mistake there, but that's okay. I'm going to try once this is done. Hi everyone, we're back again. So my puffy paint pictures have dried, our sunshine pictures. So I just wanted to show you both the ones that we did. So this is the one that we did together, which says, "You are my sunshine," in purple sparkles. It's really cool because my paint has some sparkles in it, which makes it look really cool. And this is the one that I did earlier. Again, "You are my sunshine," with green, and I think they look great. So I hope you guys had fun today making some puffy paint cards. I've again made a whole bunch of other cards, which I'll put pictures up for you guys to get ideas from. I made some really cool cards where you can kind of put some on the inside of your card and then flip it over. And then I've also made some cards where with my leftover paint, again, we're putting it in the middle and it turning out to be a really cool butterfly, which is really abstract and really fun. So yeah, so thanks again for being a part of this video and hope to see you all soon. God bless, bye!